We are the dreamers. This is a show for those who dare to dream. Believe in yourself and fuel the dream within. We exist to help you nurture the dream, to become the leader who carries a vision and a mission that serves the world. I'm your host, RJ Horner. Welcome to this interview series with visionary leaders working to make a difference in the world and make their dreams a reality. Through sharing their ups and downs as a visionary, they want to help you make your dreams come true. In talks with RJ, hosts the coaches, mentors, teachers, and business leaders who have made it their mission to share their life lessons and experience with us in the effort to build a better future full of potential and possibilities to create a life of wonder and fulfillment. Today, we're talking to a former military man who used his skills he learned to develop systems and a culture that makes for a better life. Not only is a podcaster, podcast coach, but he now has a passion for developing you on the path to your TEDx stage, with having several TEDx appearances, including hosting his own MC on the TEDx stage. Please welcome the founder of the Success Core, Sean Douglas. Sean, how are you today?
What's up, brother?
Wonderful. I'm doing good. How about you?
Doing good, man. Life's good.
Good, good, good. So before we get going in an in-depth interview, what I hope is an in-depth interview where you're going to help people figure out their passion and turn their story into a stage talk that's going to turn their life around. I love quotes. So please tell us a quote that kind of guided your life on the journey.
I love quotes too. There's so many. Geez. A quote that guided me. I mean, other than a ton of Bible verses,
Hey,
I would
that's
say,
quoted too, right? Plenty of times.
right? I don't know if it's like an actual quote, but I think there's something that I read in my first ever book of professional development was The Power of Positivity by Norman Vincent Peale.
Yep.
And there's so many good nuggets in there. But there's something about letting go. And there's something about acceptance. And in that book, I learned that when you reframe your mind, you reframe your life.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It all starts with mindset, right? No matter what
Yep.
we do, we have to be in the frame of mind to create, especially as a dreamer, right? We have to be able to nurture that vision. And I think just being in that frame of mind to start with really sets us off on the right foot. I want
Oh,
to talk
yeah.
about one that you gave me when we first talked about setting up this interview. You said, "This is not how my story ends." I love those words. I wrote them down. I knew I was going to bring them to the forefront today. So there's a quote from you that kind of helps people out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Whenever I'm on stage speaking, I tell people, like, my message for you today is that you have the power to say, this is not how my story ends. You have the ability to turn the page and write a new chapter. So today is the day that you finally say yes. Today is the day that you finally say yes to your new life. Yes to the new chapter. Yes to the new possibilities, and start writing your success story today.
Yeah, and for all the dreamers out there, I mean, those are words they need to hear, right? Yes, you can start it today. Yes, no matter what you've done yesterday, today is the rest of your possibility, the rest of your opportunity. I love that.
Yep. Yep.
Absolutely. And so we talked about how you're a retired military personnel. Tell us a little bit more about your background, your story, and how you came to be on this path as the founder of the Success Corps.
Yeah. I joined the Air Force in 2001, right after 9/11. Took me all over the world. I was a F-15 Strike Eagle crew chief. And then I did some security forces duty, did some convoy duty, and then I became a technician on F-22s, F-15, F-16s, A-10s. So I've worked all four of the tactical fighter airframes. And then I became a drill instructor and then went back to my original career field and kind of finished out. I came off a really bad deployment in 2008,
Mhm.
and then it's one of those deployments that you just kind of want to forget about, and so I drank a lot to forget about it,
Oh, okay.
and then the wife left, took the kids, and then I showed up to work drunk, and the military was going to kick me out. But my captain said, instead of kicking him out, let's get him help. I mean, the easy thing to do is just kick him out, right? Oh,
Yeah.
you're an issue. Get out of here. But something happened that made him the way he is. So let's figure that out. So he gave me a chance.
And
But
amazing for people to give you a chance, right? Like we need those opportunities, right? So you were going to continue, please.
yeah, oh yeah, man. If that opportunity that he gave me saved my life,
Yeah.
because in December of 2008, I had a gun in my mouth and I was ready to go. And the people that I worked with had found me and stopped me and got me the help that I needed. And had it not been for that moment, then my life would be drastically different, and everybody else's life around me would be drastically different. And after I got help and I quit drinking, quit smoking, got into professional development, the
Yeah.
first book I ever read was that Power of Positivity book, and I was like, man, my life was such negativity. That's all it was. I saw the negative in everything. I saw the bad in everything. But as I turned my mind around, my life started to turn around. And my captain, who had suggested that I go get help, or whatever, and gave me a chance, told me that I should be a drill instructor. I was like, yeah, right. I am not doing that. Sorry, not doing that. And he's like, no, 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 you need to. You absolutely need to. You have a powerful testimony. People need to hear your story. I'm like, what story? So I got accepted to drill instructor school. I became a drill instructor for Air Force basic training. And then I did 4 years of that, learned how to coach, train, teach, mentor, speak. And then I left that 4 years. And when I got to my next duty station, there was an opportunity to become a master resilience trainer. They were looking for instructors to lead this program. I said, well, I was an instructor. Well, well, then you have to do this then. I'm like, well, what is it? So I became a master resilience trainer and got certified through the University of Pennsylvania. I then led that program from 2015 to 2019. So in 2008, I went through my stuff, right? 2009 through 2013, I was a drill instructor. Went to the next duty station in 2013, deployed, came back, 2014, got certified, and then I led that whole program a year after I got certified until 2019. I was the lead suicide awareness trainer and the lead master resilience trainer.
So what
And
is
then I
resilience
retired.
training? Just tell us a bit about that if you could.
Yeah. So there's 10 skill sets, and you do quarterly trainings for everybody on base. So everybody goes through your resilience training, and you do like 30 people at a time. And it's for people who are recommended or people who just want some resilience training. But either way, there's a lot of people that said, yeah, like I want to go to this. We had lines. I mean, we would wait lists and everything. And so it's a 2-day seminar, 8 hours a day, and we teach you resilience through gratitude, mindset, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual resilience skills. And then at the end of the 2 days, um, we kind of assess. Not to say like, oh, I'm automatically resilient,
Mhm.
but we assess after those 2 days, and through the class, and we're like, so how do you feel? Like, what's different? What are you gonna do from now on? Where's your life gonna go? That type of stuff.
Mhm.
And then, we give them a certificate. Hopefully they use the skills that we taught them.
So you were being trained for your future pretty much, like from that opportunity where look, and we talked in 2018, I had an interview with you, and I believe you told me that then. But when you said it again just now, I still got chills. Like it just hits me to the
Yeah.
bone that you were in that moment and now you're, so like based on like your background, I'm sure people can see that you have had a journey since then. You've helped a lot of people then. So you were kind of being groomed for where you would go in the future.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So let's talk about this journey you've been on. You are not only a podcast host, you've had several podcasts that I know about. The one I love the most is that create, launch, monetize. And don't get me wrong, you got a couple of them that are really of value. But I love this one because it hits me at home. Right here, I am trying to turn this into a business and create something of value. But not only am I creating it and watching the journey at the same time, and then taking that and building it upon itself, right? And that's something I learned from you from this podcast. So tell me about that one first, and then I want to talk about your second podcast.
Yeah, Create, Launch, Monetize is a show that we talk about anything and everything. If you want to create something, launch it, and monetize it, we'll show you how. And the guests that we have on the show, uh, we talk about like, so what did you create? Like, what did you do? And we talk about how the launch, uh, what did they launch? How did they launch it? The ins and outs, the monetization. How are you monetizing it? What are you monetizing? How much is it? And so we talk about like I created this course. Here's how I launched it. Here's what the cost is. Here's how I market it. Here's how I, monetize it, whatever. Um, Different businesses, stuff like that. So it's a very well-rounded show, very popular. And the people that have on the show, like that's all we talk about. What did you create? How did you launch? And how are you monetizing it? And sometimes people say, yeah, here's how I'm monetizing. I'm like, wow, I would have never thought of that. Like, oh yeah, that's how I monetize. I'm like, that's very cool. So you never know what people are doing.
Right. And there's so many creative ways to try and turn it into that dollar. That look, if we're not gonna turn it into a business, there's no point in doing it. I think you've said that on your podcast. So look, how do we
Yep.
do it? How did you monetize this? And you get so many creative ideas.
Oh yeah. Then you look back at your stuff and you're like, huh, what if I can incorporate that?
Yeah.
What if I can do that? And then it gets your creative juices going. And then you're like, man, maybe I'll just do it this way. Maybe I'll tweak it a little bit. Maybe it'll work this way.
Mm. And you're partnered with another big business builder. I think his name's Anthony Frank, right?
Yep. Anthony Frank. Yep.
Who has been a big builder in his own right, and together you guys share
Yep.
that experience with the people out there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And like I
Yeah.
said, to me, it's
He's been
already
around.
added value to my life. So thank you for creating this podcast and the structure that you use to help people out there. It's amazing. If anybody hasn't checked it out yet, create, launch, monetize. Go to your favorite podcast platform and download it.
Yep.
The other show I want to talk about, because again, it's for people who maybe don't feel they have any value in their life. They're lost. They're struggling. We need to turn that around. And so the show is called No Worth to Self Worth. And I think you even told me you're trying to turn it into a TV show, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about that one, please.
Yeah. So From No Worth to Self Worth is based off of our best selling book that I wrote in 2021. And it's about where do you go when you're in the darkest night of the soul moment? Where do you go from there? How do I find my self worth when I feel like I am not worthy of anything? Some
Mm.
people feel like they're not worthy of love. Some people feel like they're not worthy of abundance, like money or friends or family. They're just meant to be alone. Some people believe that I'm not worthy other than I'm going to struggle my whole life. I'm going
Mm.
to claw and scratch and fight for everything, and nothing's going to come easy. And that's my worth. So the guests on the show, we offer a different insight. So to go from no worth, I'm not worthy, I suck, I'm never going to amount to anything, to I am worthy, I am enough, And we bring you out of that dark night of the soul moment. We bring you out of the depths and get you to realize that you are worthy and you are enough. And here's the steps you need to take.
Mhm. And that has tremendous value for anybody out there. Like that's a common story out there, right? I'm not worth any. I
Yeah.
still struggle with that one because look, I want to go down in the annals with Zig Ziglar, Bob Proctor. You know what I mean? I want to be able to teach people how to step forward and live that better life. But who am
Yeah.
I to take this journey? Who am I to tell people out there that you can achieve this? You're this good. You have value inside you. Nurture that dream and create your possibilities, right? But who am I? I'm not enough. Am I enough? Right? I still question that. So we all have that journey. But I've also been at the depths of despair and wonder what to do next. You know, I've never put the gun in my mouth. God bless. But I mean, I've been struggling with depression and asked myself, why am I living this life? What am I supposed to do here? Right. So there are people out there who are struggling with that journey. And what a great program. So you're turning it into a TV show? Is that still in
Yeah.
possibility
Yeah.
or
So we're working on actually creating a TV show around the no worth to self worth concept and just going on the road and interviewing people and meeting people in parks and in the mall and just wherever, meeting people where they are and say,
Mhm.
what does self-worth mean to you? How do you know if someone has self-worth? How do you know if people are worthy, like they feel worthy? Why wouldn't someone feel and just we want to interview kids, we want to interview teenagers, we want to interview young adults, old adults, and one of the episodes that we're storyboarding is we're going to go to a retirement home and we're going to find the most cognitive, right? And maybe it's like 4 or 5 of them, and get a round table going, and it's going to be like, in your lifetime, what was the greatest achievement that you ever had? And just get the old timers perspective,
Mm,
you know? So that's going to be one of the episodes,
love it.
and
Love
that's
it.
going to be heart wrenching.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, I've often thought, and I haven't done it myself yet, but I've often thought old retirement homes are a great place to get out there and volunteer. You know what? For the youth out there who are trying to get their volunteer hours, go volunteer at a retirement home. Why? They are often the greatest mentors. They have the best stories to tell. They're willing to share their experience with you, and there's so much wisdom off that table, like you said. So I
Yeah,
love that.
for sure.
Love where you're going with that. I look forward to it because that sounds like something that's really of value for people out there, especially again for dreamers, right? For people who want to believe that there's possibilities, but who want to create something, who want to show something of value with their life. What an opportunity for to hear from the people on the street, the people who think, what am I to do? But how do we create it? How do we get better? How do we show ourselves to be of value? Love it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So let's transition because I mean, you don't want to be known as a podcaster anymore. Your journey is growing. I love what's in the top left corner there where it says TEDx. Let's talk about that. You've been on the stage several times. How do people get there?
Well, TEDx is all about the big idea we're spreading. And if you have an idea that you feel like would change humanity, then you need to be on the stage. And TEDx is the Super Bowl of speaking. If you manage to become a TEDx speaker, I feel like you've made it. And a lot of other speakers feel the same way. It's one of the most prestigious stages out there. I've spoken at it 3 times. And I was the MC at an event. So this is my world. And I work with other speakers to get them booked for their own TEDx.
Mhm.
And then one day, you know what? I will probably host a TEDx. More than likely, I
Yeah,
will probably
no,
host one.
absolutely. So,
Um,
so what is somebody out there who wants to get that? So, what was your journey to creating your talk, to getting on that stage? Tell us a little bit about that.
yeah, I just basically looked at what I was doing and I said, how can I help the most amount of people? And I took my resilience training that I was already delivering. Remember, from 2015 to 2019, I led that program. 2017 was my first talk. And I basically took my fact-based positive psychology research studies that we used in our training, and I used it for a TEDx talk. And they loved it. They absolutely were like, "Yep, we want that." Talked about my suicide story, talked about the research studies involved in how do you hack your brain for success. That's the name of my talk, is hacking your brain for success. And you can actually hack into your brain and rewire your brain's subconscious to be successful.
Absolutely. And I believe that too. Look, I've changed my thought patterns and my process several times in my life. In fact, I've recently allowed God back into my life, which has been a
Mm,
journey because I walked away from the church back in the 80s when there was a certain culture going on.
yep.
Um,
Yep.
I walked away. And so doing so, I walked away from God. But I've never
Mm,
abandoned those values, but it's been a journey to allow God back into my life. But
mm.
I've done that recently. So we can change our mindset. We can have that epiphany that can just change it for the next stage of our life.
Yeah, for sure.
So when did you realize that this kind of was your calling? This was your path to help serve out there? Because leadership is a service, right? So
Right.
how did you realize this?
Yeah, when I started getting booked to speak all the time, and I was like, "Oh, this is so much fun," and then I loved it, and then I stepped into it, and I was like, "Man, I'm home. When I'm on stage, I'm home. This is where I belong." Like you just know, that's my jam. So the more I did it, the more I loved it, the more that I wanted more of it, and the way that you can help people speaking from stage and writing books and podcasting, it's a great feeling.
Mm. Absolutely. And I think we all have that dream at some level, right? Everybody, 80 some odd people want to write a book, 80 some odd percent of people, but they don't, right? We all, well, there's many people out there who have a fear of public speaking, but we all have a message inside us that we want to share. I know myself, I've been on stages several times. And listen, you put a microphone hooked up to me, I can talk for hours. I'm comfortable, let's talk. But the minute I put a microphone in front of my face, I get nervous, and I'm kind of, at least when I'm holding the microphone, I get
Yeah.
nervous. So there are people out there who they have a fear of it. How do we get them over? Can we get them over that fear?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The more that you do it, of course, repetition.
Right.
But what I teach the speakers is that yes, you're nervous, reframe your mind, reframe your life. You're not nervous, you're excited.
Yes.
The only reason that you get nervous is because you don't want to mess up and you don't want to look foolish. So
Mhm.
you have a fear of judgment. There's no fear of judgment. Oh, I'm going to forget what I'm going to say. No, you're not. I'm going to freeze. No, you're not. Because you're not nervous. You're excited.
I
So
love
just
that.
reframe the feelings that you're having.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what it was. When I'm starting to shake, I'm just so excited. I can't control that energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, well, at least when I'm hooked up, I can walk back and forth. I can move. I can feel comfortable. But I feel locked down when I have that microphone in front of my face. And like you say, I'm terrified of what do these people think of me? Can they see how edgy I am, or can they feel my energy? And it comes off as a negative energy rather than that positive energy.
Yeah, right.
So, so
Yeah.
go ahead, please.
Yeah. I was going to say, energy is everything. And as a speaker, you have to have some positive energy.
Oh, absolutely.
If you just always think like, I'm going to fail and it's not going to work, like the audience feeds off of the speaker's energy. Nobody in the audience is like, man, I really hope this speaker sucks. Man, I can't wait for this guy to bomb. Nobody, like, they're all rooting for you, you know? So just go do what you love to do. If speaking is what you love to do, then do it.
And like I said, so for the dreamers out there, most of them have a message inside them. They have a passion that they want to take to the world, whether it's, being a coach, being a speaker, being an author, or building a business, building a tower, building whatever that dream may be. It means that I have something inside me that has to come out and wants to get to people, right? How do we take that and create something with it.
Yeah,
So can
absolutely.
anybody take this journey? Can anybody be a leader or be a speaker or be, a dreamer?
I think anybody can be anything they want to. They just have to make sure that their mindset's in the right place,
Hmm. I think we have to get in touch with that kid,
But
inside of us, right?
yeah, I mean, mindset isn't everything. If people's like, "Oh man, everything mindset," I don't think it is. You can have the best mindset ever, but if your strategy sucks, you're going nowhere. You're just spinning your wheels in the mud. So good on you for having a great attitude, but you got to have a strategy too.
Mhm.
And on the other flip side, if your strategy is rock solid and you are amazing at executing this strategy, you can have a terrible mindset. But the more wins you get, the more positive you're going to get. And you can't help but change your attitude because of all the wins. So, yes, mindset has to be there, but your strategy is everything.
I love that because I mean, you see so many successful people out there, and there are some of them who just have a rotten attitude. You don't want to be around them.
Yep.
You wonder how they're successful in business. Um,
Yeah.
do you believe? And I'm maybe asking you for your opinion at this point, but do you believe it's because they've had those continuous failures or problems that maybe led to their misery and the unhappiness?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think they're healed. They're carrying around a bunch of stuff and they're not healed. So instead of dealing with their issues or dealing with their problems, they're using speaking as sort of a therapy and they're still miserable. They're still living in their moment instead of healing through that and moving on and becoming a more positive person. They're stuck.
Hmm. And
I've met
so
a
I've
ton of
heard
them.
that to lead is to serve, right? Get out there, and that's kind of a way to get out of your own DS, right? Your own mind is to get out there and help other people, right? By serving and doing for others, you can kind of walk away from that misery and that feeling that you're having inside of you by being of value. And there becomes that step that I'm doing something positive, I'm doing something great. Let's do more of that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then maybe you start to get that feeling of euphoria and excitement that you need to move forward.
100%. Yep.
Love it. So I mean, we've had a great topic. You've been of amazing value. um what can you leave people with, um that is going to change their mindset, is going to put them on the path to dreaming big, maybe to get them on that TEDx stage one day?
Goals are just dreams with a deadline. So whatever dream you have, put a deadline on it. I will achieve it by this date. I will achieve whatever it is I'm going to achieve by doing these three, four, five, whatever things. So not only do you write it down and say, this is my dream, these are the steps I'm going to take, and I'm going to take these steps by this date.
Mm,
So goals are just dreams with a deadline. All you got to do
abs-
is put a strategy behind it, and all you need is a deadline.
Absolutely. And if people haven't, again, like I said, check out that podcast, Create, Launch, Monetize. By the way, we talked about this. I love the font and the color that you use for that podcast because it's the same one I used to create my first book, 10 Steps to
Yep.
Achieve Any Outcome You Desire. I love seeing that.
Yep.
Every time I see it, I think about my own book. I get excited.
Yeah.
So, speaking of books,
Absolutely.
have you read Think and Grow Rich, by the way? Because that's exactly where my mind went when you were saying the goal with a deadline and write it out, and here's what you're going to do by when. That's exactly what I thought about. So, have you read that book? I'm sure.
No, I mean, I heard of it plenty of times,
Oh
but no,
my
I haven't
God.
read it.
Oh my God, you've got to get it. If you haven't gotten a copy, get Think and Grow Rich. So, having said it, you talked about the power of positivity. Um, what other books that could you recommend for people out there that might change their mindset or put them on the path to a better life?
Yeah, if you're in business, there's a book that everybody must read. It's a must have. It's called Play Bigger: How Pirates, Dreamers, and Innovators Create and Dominate Markets.
Oh, I love it.
And it's by my buddy Christopher Lochhead, who also has amazing podcasts, Lochhead on Marketing and Follow Your Different.
Way to plug somebody else out there. But again, that what, by leading people to different ideas, better options, better possibilities, they can find their path, find their dream. So I love it. Thank you
Yep.
very much.
Absolutely.
So, Sean, I mean, I've talked about how you're the founder of the Success Core. People can find you on Facebook through the Success Core. How do you want to lead people back so that they can learn more from you and maybe find out how they can be on the next stage or create their own podcast or monetize their product?
Yeah, we are rebuilding our website right now, but you can go to thesuccesscore.com. You can find me on any social media platform that you want. And let's just have a conversation. Let's see if what I offer is right for you. If you want to be a TEDx speaker or if you want to launch a podcast, um, that's pretty much what we do. So would love to have a conversation with anybody who's been thinking about podcasting or thinking about public speaking. Is mostly where my focus is now, is working with people who want to become public speakers or professional speakers or want to get booked for a TEDx. That's really where our focus is this year.
And thank you for being on my show today. You're my first interview in many years. I love that I'm getting back in this journey, and you're the first. I spoke to you 5 years ago. You're the first one here with me today. I
Yeah.
love that. But also, here's another thing I love. If you go to thesuccesscore.com, you have a page on your website that leads people to other podcasts that you've been on, so people can
Yep.
find value from all of your past speaking engagements.
Yep. Yep. 100%.
So wonderful. Sean, thank you again for your time. Thank you for being on the Dreamers. This has been an amazing journey, and I hope people find value and I hope people connect with you. So thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much. I'm honored.
Awesome. As am I. Thank you very much. So thanks, guys. Again, if you have a dream, if you have a vision, you have a desire to create. I say, look, if you have that dream twice, you're meant to pay attention. If you have a dream a dozen times, you're meant to create it. Let's take that dream and become a builder, a visionary. Let's take your dream to the next level. So thank you, everybody, for joining us today. More exciting interviews to come in the Dreamers, voicing the vision. Thank you very much.